back in open session. We have action to take.
I move to approve the hire of Catherine Forrester as the Vernia ISD Girls Athletic Director and volleyball coach as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Motion been made by Ryan Day to approve the hiring of Catherine Forrester as the Vernia ISD Girls Athletic Director and volleyball coach. As presented. That motion is seconded by Jimmy McFadden. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. That motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Dr. Cole, you have a few words to say.
Absolutely. If I could have Catherine come up to the podium, and I'm going to read a little bit for the people at home. This is a press release that we're going to release in just a few moments, but I'm going to read it aloud before I give her a few moments to say something. Please join us in giving a big welcome to our new girls athletic director and head volleyball coach, Catherine Forrester. Coach Forrester brings an extraordinary legacy of leadership, championship success, and student-athlete development to our district. With more than 15 years of coaching and athletic administration experience across Texas, she has built powerhouse programs, developed elite athletes, and created cultures of excellence everywhere she's been. Most recently, Coach Forrester led Eagle Mountain High School to the 2025 4A Division II State Championship, earned Texas High School Coaches Association Volleyball Coach of the Year honors, and was named District 7 4A Coach of the Year. At Decatur High School, she guided her teams back-to-back 4A state championships, 4 undefeated district titles, and multiple Coach of the Year recognitions. From state titles to athlete mentorship, Coach Forrester's passion, leadership, and commitment to excellence make her the perfect fit for Our Lady Bears. We are thrilled for the future of girls athletics under her direction and can't wait to see the energy, success, and championship mindset she brings to Bear Nation. Welcome to the Bear family, Coach Forrester. The future is bright. So we're glad to have her. And I didn't say anything about Hereford. There's a lot to say about your success in Hereford as well, but we kind of glossed over that. And I also want everybody to know when this goes out, and it's not on our printout after all, so Coach, you may have to help me. We have a meet and greet tomorrow night, am I correct? Yes, sir. At what time?
5.
At 5 o'clock in the auditorium, and that's going to go out to just a minute. So we'll give you a few moments to say what you want to say now.
Well, first off, I want to thank the Board of Trustees, Dr. Cohn and Coach Knoll, and the hiring committee for choosing me for such an amazing position. I'm going to call my kids up here so I can introduce them. This is Ellie, Everett, and Emery Forrester. I'll apologize to everybody right now. They're everywhere all the time, and they're a lot, but these three, we are so excited about what this community has to offer for us as a family, and to get in here and just start growing and being a part of the community here at La Vernia. We're just excited. I'm very excited about the opportunity to come here and build a program and stay and develop the entire girls athletics program, and to continue to build on Coach Coleman's success that she's had here. From the moment I saw La Vernia, I told them I was scouting a game and watched the game, and I was like, man, that's a place I want to go. This is a community that travels and follows and is dedicated to athletic success. And so it's apparent as you have all these athletes come in today and you honor them, and they did great and they had a great season. So we just like to say we're very excited to get here and get started, and go Bears.
Take a picture with us?
Yes.
And she's back here. You look for that lady, she won't mind that.
Okay, we have additional action to take from executive session.
I motion to approve the superintendent to take action to purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property as discussed in closed session.
Motion made by Ryan Diggy to give the superintendent action to purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. That motion been seconded by Lee Heard. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor of that motion, please raise your hand. That motion passes 7-0. That. Okay, next item on the agenda, we have a discussion and report item. So we're going to bring up to the podium, we're going to talk about the 2026-27 benefits update. We're going to bring Mr. Chuck Haley, the senior account manager from FFPA, up to the podium to discuss our employees' insurance benefits. Welcome, Chuck.
Thank you for having me. Good evening. My name is Chuck Haley, and I'm with First Financial Group. And we are the company that administers and handles the voluntary products for supplemental benefits for the school district. And there's several goals, or several things that we have in mind when we work with the school district. And primarily, the main thing that I'll do, that I want to talk about tonight, is the benefits, the voluntary plans that we offer to the employees that they can sign up for. There are no district dollars and no contribution from the school district on these. This is aside from the medical insurance, although I'll speak briefly about the medical insurance at the end of my presentation. But I just want to go over a couple of things. I'll tell you here on the slide what we're talking about tonight, kind of give you, that's just an introduction of who I am and where I fit in here. Basically, we're going to talk about these benefits that are offered voluntarily to the employees of the Vernia ISD. We'll start with the dental insurance and then we'll move through it. At the very end, I'll talk about the medical insurance, there's a teacher retirement system. Let's talk about the dental insurance. We've used Humana for a couple of years now. Humana's a great company, but like many plans with the utilization and claims experience, they have experienced a 20% rate increase. So had we stayed with them, and I know that sounds outrageous, and it really is, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, but had we stayed with Humana, we would have handed over 20% rate increase to your employees. What I try to do, one of my big things that I do is I like to go out and look for, I work with a lot of different companies. I'm not tied to just Humana or just the big companies, but I work with a lot of different companies. So what I try to do is I try to find a good fit for the school district where the rates right now are not nearly as high as that rate increase, so that it's not such a shock to the employees. Because when I get to the end of my presentation, we'll talk about the medical insurance. There's not much we can do about that because we are tied to TRS and the Blue Cross Blue Shield that they offer us. And we know that rates are going to go up on medical insurance every year, and that's not just Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's every company. So I try to limit or try to mitigate some of that shock by trying to lower some of the rates on the voluntary plans. So this time, we're working with Emeritus, and we've worked with Emeritus before at the Vernia ISD, so that's not a company that we're not familiar with here. But the rates, we'll look at the benefit structure is almost identical to Humana as far as what's covered, cleanings, x-rays, exams, and all that. But when you get down to the rates, it's quite a bit less than the 20% increase that we have with Humana. So that was my recommendation for this year's enrollment. And that's by far, I think that was the best plan that we can come up with. Now, that's not to say in a couple of years or even next year that we don't get a big rate increase, and then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll figure out what we're going to have to do and maybe look at a different option. There's lots of different dental insurance companies. They're all great, and I'll come to that when we get to it. And hopefully it's not for a couple of years. But Emeritus is the plan that we're looking at going with for the replacement of Humana for the dental insurance. Does anybody have any questions about the dental plan in particular? Now let's talk about the vision plan.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
What was the maximum last year of the plan that we had?
The maximum with I'm sorry.
What was the maximum per person last year?
As far as what they would pay, what they're in?
Yeah, 1,000 per calendar year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1,000 last year?
I think it was 1,000 last year as well, and 1,000 for orthodontics for those under age 18. Two different categories there. So sometimes we'll get an employee that says, hey, I want to get braces or Invisalign, and unfortunately if they're over 18, and this is common with most dental plans, it's only good for orthodontics for children for $1,000 annual max for that service.
I have a question on dental. Do you compare which provider you're looking to shift from Louisiana to Emeritus and understand how many people may be affected by losing a provider?
We do. That's a great question, because that's a big thing to think about. With most of these companies, Humana and Emeritus, they all have a passive PPO, meaning they have their list of providers that they like to work with, but you can go outside that and still get benefits. So, and before, when we had the DHMOs, where you only had these small groups of dentists that operate within the network, and then you squeeze everybody into those networks, it just didn't work very well. So I think for the last probably 10 or so years, we've gotten away from the DHMOs for that reason. Because you're going to hurt a lot of employees where they're saying, okay, I went to this dentist, but now he or she's not on my network for the new plan. That's a great question.
Thank you.
You bet. Oh, yeah, let's talk about the waiting period too. Oftentimes, the insurance company says we have a 12-month waiting period for anybody that signs up. And so, for major work in orthodontics, we get cleanings, x-rays, and exams, and even basic services like fillings and things like that, minor surgeries. But with Emeritus and a lot of these companies are getting away from the waiting period because that will adversely affect the employee as well. So we have somebody that had, if they say, I need a root canal, which is a type 3 or a major service, which is a more expensive thing, well, you have to have a 12-month waiting period. So you can't get that root canal covered the first year. Obviously, they can't wait probably. They want to get that root canal done as soon as possible. There's no waiting period for this, for things like that. That's a good point. Let's talk about the vision plan. We've used Superior for a number of years. Superior is a great company. I do like Superior and I like the network. But Itopia, what stands out with Itopia, with the company that I'm recommending now, is that people can get, or an employee can get, both glasses and contacts covered in the same year. Many times with a vision plan, you choose either you're going to get contact lenses this year and buy your glasses out of pocket, and then next year you may get contact or pay for the glasses with the insurance plan and vice versa. But now with Itopia, they have that's their biggest selling point. And so you can get both glasses and contacts. Now Itopia has two different tiers here. And the gold, they call it the gold plan on the right, or the higher option. But basically the benefits are better, and it does cover benefits for hearing aids on the higher plan. And it's a discount option for that. And the contact lens option is double at $300 instead of $150. So it's quite a bit more benefit than what we have at Superior. And that was a reason for me thinking about Itopia. I've used it in several of my other groups. And by the way, I work primarily with school districts, most of the school districts in a handful of cities, but no private sector. And so it seems like Itopia's working well with our groups, our municipal groups. And on the second page here, you can see their rates. I see it better on that bigger screen there, but on the higher option, on the gold plan, those rates are quite a bit more, but there's a lot more benefit involved. Most people that I see will elect the standard plan because the rates are a lot less than what we see on the gold plan. Any questions or concerns about the vision plan?
The person in downtown, where do you think I help you?
Who is the doctor?
I'm asking.
I
Are you aware of who that is? And do they think I help you?
need to check. I need to get the doctor's name, and I can certainly look that up and find out for sure. We
Yeah,
have.
DPD says it does, but.
What's it?
It wants to keep you there.
Yeah.
It wants to give you that information. I'm just curious because we got and I would say the same thing back to the dental students when I wanted to ask that same question, because we have a lot of local dentists that our parents and our employees go to locally.
Mhm.
And I would want some sort of assurance that we would look at what these two plans are going to do or not do for our employees that live in our community.
Well, for sure.
In terms of access.
Yes, for sure.
If we have to go to the north side of San Antonio now, we may have just created the contracts.
Right. On the dental, for sure, they can use any dentist. It's a passive network. It's a passive PPO, so that's not a problem. On the vision, there is a network, and it's an extensive network, but I'll need to find out for certain to find out about the optometrist here in town.
And can I ask another question on past it? So does that mean that they take that, and they'll pay for the other one, but it's gonna be at a lower rate?
Well, so they have a contractual agreement with their dentist, all the Emeritus and Humana does.
Yeah.
And so they have a contractual agreement, but on the basic services, it's always 100%,
Okay.
whether they're within the PPO or not, because it's passive. But I'll check on the optometrist and I'll find out about that.
My dentist is gonna take Emeritus, they have their agreement.
I don't know if they're on the actual network. Who is your dentist?
That's what I'm getting at. I wanna know if our dentist and Vernia are on this network.
I'll find
That makes a big deal, because our people
Sure.
aren't versatile. They're gonna go to Seguin, and they're gonna go here, and maybe Mooresville, and those names, there's not that many, or have a high value of our people, and all of a sudden I got 3 of them on here, we're gonna hear about it pretty quickly.
Sure, yeah, they want to make sure that they're, I'll find out for sure about that. I'm pretty confident with Emeritus because they are such a big dental company that I'm almost certain that they are, but I'll find out for sure and get back to you on that. Let's talk about the disability insurance. We didn't change the company on the disability insurance. We've been using American Fidelity for a number of years, probably, I think since we started here with the Vernia ISD. What American Fidelity did though is they had changed their plan a little bit and made it a little more attractive to employees. So the way the disability insurance works is that an employee must be absent for a certain number of days before the benefits begin. And it could be 7 days, it could be 14 days. Obviously, think about that in terms of a deductible. The lower the number of days would be like a lower deductible and it would be more expensive to the employee. And our disability insurance now with American Fidelity will begin on the very first day of hospitalization. It doesn't matter if they're on the 30-day plan or the 15-day plan, it will begin on the first day from hospitalization, which is it's an enhancement for the disability.
And that's for both short-term and long-term?
Yes, well, we call it long-term disability because it covers all the way to what we call normal retirement age, which could be age 65, 67, depending on the person at their age, right? And so that's considered long-term, but it will begin as soon as 14 days if they choose that plan, but if they go in the hospital, it begins on the first day. And
So
we do.
pregnancies are utilized on the long-term employees?
Yes, that's correct. So, and that's a good point. So for pregnancy maternity leave benefit, that would be on the first day because that employee would be in the hospital, even if they're on the 30-day plan. And then at the same time, these numbers probably don't mean a whole lot to us here, but these are the rates for $100 in benefit. They did reduce them a little bit from what we had been charging with American Fidelity. So we did get an enhancement and they did reduce their rates just a little bit. The reason they do this, you're wondering why would they lower the rates and not go up, is because they want to maintain the business. They don't want us to go, they know that I'm not tied to any one of these companies and they know that I'll go to another company to save a little bit of money for the employees. So they said, hey, we're going to lower the rates. We want to stay, we want to keep the business. That's why we do that. So those rates on the right-hand side, that's the dollar amount per month for $100 in coverage. So if an employee has, let's say, $1,000 in a monthly benefit based on their salary at the time, that cost would be $36.80 per month on the highest plan after 7 days. Now, if they choose a lower plan, such as after 14 days, it would be $31.46 per month. And so the employee chooses which way they want to elect. I'm very comfortable with American Fidelity because of the way that they file claims. I had a conversation with somebody from another school district this afternoon, and her comment was, I can't believe how fast the claim was processed. And with American Fidelity, they are very, very fast, they're very efficient, and they try not to give us a runaround when it comes to claims and processing time and so forth. Speaking of American Fidelity, we also use their cancer insurance. They offer a lot of different lines, and the cancer insurance that we've had up to this point has been with a company named Guardian. Guardian's a great company, but American Fidelity is just a little bit lower in cost. So we put together a plan with 3 tiers, just like when I say 3 tiers, 3 different options for an employee to choose from that somewhat mirrors what Guardian has. It has a few more bells and whistles, but the rates are a little bit more affordable. Again, it's not much, but it's a little bit. I'm just trying to cut where we can on cost. On the very highest plan that's available with American Fidelity, I think it's on the second page. Stay on the third page here. Is a heart attack and stroke benefit for $5,000 for those who elect the highest plan, even though it's a cancer insurance. But this is a supplemental cancer insurance that pays an employee if they are diagnosed with any kind of cancer. And it also includes benefits for the initial diagnosis. So someone that may be diagnosed at the onset, they give them a benefit to get started. It's either $2,500 or $5,000, and then they file a claim to receive maybe chemotherapy benefits or hospitalization or possibly surgery benefits. And so American Fidelity is a change from Guardian over to American Fidelity on the cancer. Do we have any questions about cancer insurance? And this is just another look. There's always some additional diseases that are covered with the cancer that are just covered with it automatically. This is a list of those diseases that are covered as well. Some of these are not very common, but they are included. This just shows the breakdown of the rates per month. Let's look at, okay, let's talk about the supplements. These are all supplements, by the way, when we get into cancer. The next plan that we're talking about, we're using Manhattan Life. This is the, I believe that's the accident plan. Yeah, that is the accident plan. It's hard for me to see from here. But the accident insurance up to this point has been offered through Aflac. Aflac's a great company, but this company with Manhattan Life has a great